So the business has actually now been around since '97, so this is the 26th year. Back in the day, it was really just my dad, my brother Jordan, a few others. And the brief was pretty simple. It was a bit of a conversation with everyday retail investors with the goal of just kind of removing the mystery and the complexity of stock market investing so that everyone could feel confident to delve into that world themselves. Over time, really, that's how we've continued things. We've obviously have evolved. We have introduced new products, but ultimately we've stayed true to those core principles of making things easy for everyday investors who obviously otherwise wouldn't have access to investing in the stock market in a responsible manner. The goal remains, making things as easy as possible and understandable for people. And I think the main way we try to do that is build trust with our members. Obviously, the more they trust us, the more they're comfortable with the whole process, the more likely they are able to invest and then follow the strategies that we've designed for them, because ultimately the closer they follow, the more likely it is that they'll perform in line with what we're performing, and ultimately they'll avoid making mistakes as well. So over the years, we've tried to simplify things as much as possible. Probably in my mind, the main mistake made by most investors is that emotions, for the most part, interfere with sound decision making. So we have created what we call systematic strategies, which ultimately mean that we buy and sell based on predetermined rules. While there are some ups and downs with it, I think the main one is that it removes, as I said, that emotional decision making, and always means that there's a reason to both hold and sell a stock, and that is a good way to ensure that your returns over the long term will be good, and you will avoid those key mistakes that you make, for example, in a bear market when things are bleak, when you're ultimately selling things just because you can't take the pain anymore, when of course logic dictates that that's the best time to buy. And obviously on the flip side of that is when things are going well, when there's euphoria in the market and you're ultimately inclined to consider holding things or buying things continually. And again, that emotion needs to be eliminated, and selling in those times is always the right course of action as well. But again, as long as you're following these rules, you'll perform well over the long term. And broadening out our products, making things as widely accessible for people as possible. So we've got a self-managed super fund administration business as well. We offer separately managed accounts, which gives clients exposure to these systematic strategies in a manner in which that they may not be able to do themselves because they may be time poor. And it's also more cost effective because the brokerage is shared. And we do also have wholesale offerings for those clients who have more money and who consider themselves more sophisticated investors and would like us to take some of that work away from them.